In the high-stakes world of the NFL, players are held to immense pressure, not just to perform on the field, but to maintain a public image off of it. Most rise to the challenge, becoming heroes to millions. But some, through poor choices or darker decisions, take paths that lead to legal trouble, career-ending scandals, and in some cases, tragedy.
I didn't mean to steal anything from anybody, and I didn't know I was doing anything illegal. I thought I was confronting friends and retrieving my property.
In today's episode of Crime 101, we're counting down the most shocking crimes in NFL history, starting with the least serious offenses and building up to the most devastating. From policy violations to life-altering events, this is a list that reveals the darker side of professional football. Make sure to watch until the end to see which player's downfall shocked the world the most. We begin with Ricky Williams, one of the NFL's most dynamic running backs, known for his time with the Miami Dolphins. While he never harmed anyone physically, Williams found himself in constant trouble with the league's banned substance policy. His repeated suspensions for marijuana use cost him millions of dollars and damaged his career momentum. In later years, Ricky spoke openly about his struggles with anxiety and mental health, highlighting how, for some players, the pressure of fame can push them toward unhealthy coping mechanisms. Plaxico Burress was a Super Bowl hero for the New York Giants, catching the game-winning touchdown in Super Bowl 42. But just months later, he made a costly mistake. In 2008, while at a New York nightclub, Burress accidentally discharged a firearm he had tucked into his pants, injuring himself in the process. Because New York has strict firearm laws, the incident led to a 2-year prison sentence. It was a single lapse in judgment, but it ended his career at its peak and cost him the chance to build on his legacy. Before ever stepping onto an NFL field, Joe Mixon's reputation was already under scrutiny. During his college years at Oklahoma, he was caught on surveillance video striking a woman in a fast food restaurant. The footage was widely circulated, and although Mixon served a suspension and later expressed remorse, the incident left a permanent stain on his image. Despite the controversy, he was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals and has since become a key player for the team, though many still associate him with that early chapter. In 1998, Leonard was celebrating his birthday when he decided to drive under the influence. That decision led to a fatal car accident that took the life of a woman. The incident deeply affected his image, even though he served the sentence given by the court. Little eventually returned to the NFL and continued to perform at a high level. But for many fans, his success on the field could never erase what happened off it. Adrian Peterson, one of the most physically gifted running backs the league has ever seen, faced intense public scrutiny in 2014. He was charged after disciplining his young son using a tree branch, a method known as switching. The resulting injuries were serious enough to draw national media attention. While Peterson said he was following traditional discipline methods from his own upbringing, the incident ignited a larger discussion about parenting, cultural norms, and where to draw the line between discipline and harm. Adam Pacman Jones was known as a playmaker, but his off-the-field reputation told a different story. Over the course of his career, he was arrested more than 10 times for a variety of incidents, ranging from physical altercations to public disturbances. His name became synonymous with trouble during the 2000s. While he managed to return to the field several times, his legacy is a cautionary tale of wasted potential and the long-term damage repeated bad decisions can cause. In 2014, Arizona Cardinals running back Jonathan Dwyer was arrested in connection with a domestic disturbance involving his wife. The alleged incident resulted in a suspension from the team and highlighted a growing concern within the NFL about how it handles personal conduct issues, particularly those involving family or partners. While the legal process unfolded quietly, the event marked the end of Dwyer's time in the NFL. Greg Hardy was once considered one of the best defensive ends in the league. But in 2014, his career took a sharp downward turn after he was accused of assaulting a former partner. Initially convicted in a bench trial, Hardy's charges were later dismissed when the accuser did not appear for the jury trial. Despite this, the case created a massive backlash, and although he briefly joined the Dallas Cowboys afterward, he never returned to form. The controversy followed him even into his brief MMA career. Aldon Smith had all the makings of a superstar: size, strength, and speed. But off the field, his life was spiraling out of control. He faced a long list of charges including impaired driving, illegal possession of weapons, and threatening behavior. Despite multiple chances to clean up his act, Smith's continued run-ins with the law derailed what could have been a Hall of Fame career. His story is one of immense talent undone by poor choices and a lack of accountability. Barrett Robbins was the starting center for the Oakland Raiders and a Pro Bowler, but he also battled bipolar disorder. Just before the Raiders were set to play in the Super Bowl in 2003, Robbins disappeared and was later found incoherent in Tijuana. His struggles didn't end there. In the years after his football career, he was involved in several violent altercations and run-ins with police. His case is a tragic reminder of what can happen when mental illness goes untreated in high-pressure environments. Sam Hurd shocked the football world in 2011 when he was caught trying to set up a major drug distribution network, while still playing for the Chicago Bears. Undercover agents recorded him attempting to negotiate large purchases of banned substances, claiming he could distribute across the NFL. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. It was a surreal and unexpected downfall for a player who, until then, had flown under the radar. Josh Brent and his teammate Jerry Brown were close friends, until one night in 2012 ended in tragedy. Brent, driving under the influence, lost control of the vehicle and crashed. Brown did not survive. Brent was charged and later served time for his role in the crash. The incident left the Dallas Cowboys organization and fans devastated. It also sparked renewed calls for athletes to take responsibility when behind the wheel. In 2021, former Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III was involved in a high-speed crash after a night of partying. Driving at more than 150 miles per hour, Ruggs collided with another vehicle, resulting in the death of a young woman and her dog. The public backlash was immediate, and Ruggs was swiftly released from the team. His sentencing included prison time, and his NFL career was effectively over. It was a heartbreaking reminder of how quickly one decision can ruin lives, including your own. Lawrence Phillips had it all: speed, power, and college stardom. But his behavior off the field was another story. He was arrested numerous times for physical altercations and aggression, both during and after his NFL career. Eventually, he was sent to prison. But even behind bars, the violence didn't stop. His life ended in 2016 under tragic circumstances while awaiting trial for a deadly confrontation with a cellmate. His is one of the most tragic stories in NFL history, filled with unfulfilled potential and relentless chaos. In 2000, during Super Bowl week in Atlanta, a fight broke out outside a nightclub that ended in the death of two men. Ray Lewis, linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, was originally charged with murder alongside two companions. Eventually, he reached a plea deal, admitting to obstructing the investigation by giving misleading statements to police. Lewis later rebuilt his public image and went on to win a Super Bowl, but the shadow of that case still lingers over his legacy. After his infamous trial in the 1990s that captivated the world, O.J. Simpson returned to headlines in 2007, this time for organizing a hotel room confrontation in Las Vegas. Simpson attempted to retrieve memorabilia he claimed was stolen, but the situation escalated into an armed robbery. He was convicted and sentenced to 33 years in prison, serving nearly a decade before being released. The incident marked a dramatic chapter in the ongoing saga of one of football's most polarizing figures. Aaron Hernandez was a young superstar for the New England Patriots, but off the field, he lived a double life. In 2013, he was arrested and later convicted for his involvement in a fatal shooting. Investigations revealed a history of violent behavior, as well as potential links to other incidents. His story took a tragic turn in 2017 when he was found dead in his prison cell, leaving behind a legacy that went from promise to infamy in a matter of years. Ray Carruth's case is one of the most chilling in NFL history. In 1999, the Carolina Panthers wide receiver was found guilty of conspiring in a deadly attack on his pregnant girlfriend. Although she did not survive, their child was born and lives today with permanent injuries. Carruth served nearly 2 decades in prison and was released in 2018. His case remains a horrifying example of calculated betrayal and the consequences of selfishness taken to the extreme. Darren Sharper was once a respected veteran and Super Bowl champion. But in a shocking series of revelations, he was convicted in multiple states for drugging and violating numerous women. His offenses spanned years and showed an intentional, predatory pattern. He's currently serving nearly 2 decades behind bars. For many, Sharper's fall from grace is one of the most disturbing stories in sports history. Lawrence Phillips appears on this list again, because even in prison, his story took a darker turn. In 2015, Phillips was accused of ending the life of his cellmate during an altercation. He was facing new charges when, months later, he was found unresponsive in his cell. While the full details may never be known, Phillips's life, from college stardom to solitary confinement, stands as one of the darkest tragedies in NFL history. These stories reveal a sobering truth. No matter how much talent or success someone achieves, it can all fall apart in a moment. Some of these players made one mistake that changed everything. Others showed patterns of behavior that ultimately caught up with them. But each case serves as a reminder of how fame and fortune don't shield anyone from consequence. If you found this video thought-provoking, be sure to subscribe to Crime 101 for more deep dives. Drop a comment below and let us know. Which story shocked you the most? Until next time, stay safe and stay smart.